Hey, y'all like my moonwalking? Check me out, boy. Woohoo! All right, yeah.
All right, guys, then it is my absolute pleasure and honor to introduce Mr. Knolly Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, Candace. So, hey, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. This is going to be super exciting. We're going to have a great time together, and we are talking about how to thrive over the next 18 months. How to thrive over the next 18 months. I know that some of you right now are not thriving. And you don't feel like you're thriving, but guess what? Thriving is right around the corner. Right around the corner, baby. We are on our way to thrive, and we're going to talk about it. So one of the things I did not do, you guys know that I love me some slides. I love slides. But this time there's no slides going on because last time we did the slide thing in the world, and you know, there's so many of you guys in here that sometimes it moves a little slow and I talk a little fast. So here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the old school pen and paper. Pen and paper, baby. I want you to write down notes, because what I'm going to share with you today is going to be very, very pivotal in helping you to succeed over the next 18 months. Before I do that, I want to send a super shout out to Candace Garcia. Thank you, Candace, for putting all of this together for us. I want to send another shout out to Brent Gove, my main man. Happy to be part of his revenue share group here at EXP. I want to send a super shout out to Glenn Sanford for everything that you do to the company. We appreciate you from the bottom of our heart. Thank you, Ricky Carew, boy, for warming up the mic for me, boy. What's up? All right. Okay, so, and there's so many others that I could thank. Especially want to thank, of course, Kevin Kaufman, my sponsor here at EXP, for having the heart, the courage to ask Fred to give me a call to share the EXP opportunity. I didn't want nothing to do. I didn't want to hear anything about it. But once I saw it, I was blown away and made the decision to join the most incredible real estate company on the planet. And I'm super, super excited to be here. So here, I'm going to give you guys 5 actions. Okay, 5 actions. You know, I'm a man of action. I'm a man of doing. Okay. And I want to give you 5 actions today that if you do these 5 actions, just listen to me now. If you do these 5 actions, you will see success. You know, so many people say, we don't know what the future holds, or it's unpredictable. Well, guess what? It's predictable because history repeats itself. We know what's coming on the horizon. And guess what's coming on the horizon? Every time there's a bad tide, guess what comes? Good tide. The good tidings, baby, are on the way. So let's look at it. Number 1, 5 actions on how to thrive over the next 18 months. Number 1, you've got to shift your mindset. Yeah, I know you've heard it before, but Uncle Knolly is going to tell you again, because it's so important that we shift our mindset. Shift our mindset. Okay, I don't care. It doesn't matter where you think your mindset is right now. It's time for an upgrade. Write that down. It's time for an upgrade. Say that to yourself. It's time for an upgrade. There's nothing wrong with an upgrade. You know, I logged into EXP World today, and guess what? The first thing they did was upgraded my system. I like upgrades. You know, I don't like going with the same old outdated stuff. Right? So it's time to upgrade, and we're going to upgrade by shifting our mindset. I want to tell you a couple stories around this. The first one is around Mina Slaughter. Now, Mina Slaughter is an agent that came to me here at EXP. I was at EXP for about 1 month when I talked to Mina. And Mina was at another company. She had been there for, at that time, 8 months. Okay. She had done a few deals, but mostly she had done leases. And she was telling me, Knolly, when I go in the office and I ask for help, nobody wants to help me. I said, Mina, you're a rookie. You're green. They're just shaking their leg like, hey, get off my leg. Stop asking me questions, right? And I said, and so I started talking to her about the future of her business, what her business could look like. And you know what she told me? She said, Knolly, here's what I got to tell you. She says, now you're telling me that EXP is great and all that. I've heard it before. I've heard everything. Everybody's told me everything, and I don't know who to believe. Can I trust you? I said, Mina, you can trust me. She said, because if what you tell me is not true, I'm going to have to go back to my corporate job. Okay. And I don't want to go back. Knolly, I do not want to go back. But my husband has already told me if I don't make it in real estate, I'm out. I'm back to my corporate job. And here's the thing. Some of you that are listening to me right now today are in that situation where you're like, hey, I don't even know if I'm going to stay in real estate. Here's what I got to tell you. Stay. It's the best game in town, and it's about to get really, really, really good. You don't want to miss it. Hey guys, I know it's tough. I pray every single day for those of us that have been affected by COVID-19, those of us that have gone through it, those of us that have family members going through it. I pray for you guys every single day. But here is what's going to happen, guys. The fun is about to begin, and you don't want to be on the sidelines when the fun starts. So stay in the game. And that's what I told Mina a little over a year ago. I said, Mina, stay in the game. Join me here at EXP and let's do something. Well, I'm super excited to let you guys know that over in her next 12 months from the time that we met, she just about hit 6 figures. She made over $90,000 in GCI. This year, she's on track for over $150,000 in GCI. Okay. Why? Because she shifted her mindset. It's a whole different way of thinking. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of tools that Mina's using right now and that you're going to be able to use. So another guy I want to talk about is Nick Serenchunchin. Now, when I talked to Nick, I was in an airport. Okay, and we don't go to those too much anymore, but I was in between flights, and Nick called me up. He says, man, I heard about this group you have, and I've heard about EXP. Well, tell me more about it. So I started talking to him. I said, man, I got a plane to catch, but let me tell you about it real quick. Okay, so we had a nice conversation. Nick went ahead and joined, and about 90 days ago, okay, Nick's been with me for about 5 months, okay, 90 days ago, and by the way, when Nick joined me, he didn't have one piece of business. Not one. He didn't have anything on the horizon. And I always teach you guys, you've got to have a pipeline of business. And Nick didn't even have one piece of business in the pipeline, okay, when he joined me, all right? Now, 90 days ago, I get a text from Nick, and he's like, Knolly, how can I motivate myself to lead generate? And I'm like, man, what's this guy talking about? He said, how can I motivate myself to lead generate? And I said, just pretend like when you had your 9 to 5, you'd get up every single day. You didn't really have to motivate yourself. Well, maybe you did, but you didn't really have to motivate yourself to get up, get out of bed, get dressed, do all the stuff that you do, shower and all that, and go to work and be there on time and put in an honest day's work. Okay, maybe not an honest day's, but put in a day's work. You didn't have to, you just did it automatically. But here's the thing, until Nick snapped into the change of mind, okay, the change of mind that I'm talking to you guys about right now, he had no business. Once he snapped into it, okay, I just got a text from him, and the text said that he is on track. I said, man, how is COVID-19 affecting you? He says, man, because he's right in Seattle. So I'm thinking, man, he's in the epicenter of the pandemic. You know, they got hit hard. He says, well, I got to tell you, I guess we've been hit hard, but I'm going to close 5 deals with $85,000 in GCI coming into my bank account within the next 25 days. Okay, $85,000 GCI in the next 25 days in the midst of COVID-19. That's Nick. Now, how is Nick doing it? How is Mina doing it? How are many of my Mentorship Masters members doing it right here at EXP? Well, they're doing it through a shift of their mind. A shift of their mind, okay? I'm going to give you 2 books that I highly recommend. The first one is called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. That's by Dr. Joseph Murphy. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy, okay? That is an incredible book that you absolutely want to get your hands on to begin to change the way you think so that you can start getting the results that you deserve, okay? Now, the second one I want to give you is, or let you know about, is it's called Feel Free to Prosper. And the reason I'm telling you guys about these two books is because these are the two books that both Nick and Mina both cited that have really helped them get on the trajectory of having a different way of looking at everything. See, we create our own reality. Okay, this is I got to tell you, this is very simple stuff, but it's also very heavy. Okay, Marilyn Janae is the author, Marilyn Janae, and that book is called Feel Free to Prosper. Feel Free to Prosper. Okay, and I know a lot of this sounds very hairy-fairy, pie in the sky, but you will talk to any millionaire, any billionaire, any multimillionaire, and every single one of them will tell you that the way they achieve success came right out of their imagination. Let me say it again. The way that they achieve success came right out of their imagination. They created their reality. They created their destiny. They created the success that they wanted. It didn't just fall out of the sky. It didn't just happen. Okay? It didn't just happen. You know, back in 2009, Glenn Sanford didn't just dream of an idea or dream of a concept. And by the way, back then it happened out of necessity. You know, I read a quote just the other day. It said, rock bottom will teach you more than any mountaintop could ever teach you. Let me say it again. Rock bottom will teach you more than any mountaintop will ever teach you. Okay? And some of us had to hit rock bottom. And it's no problem. It's okay. It's okay if we're at rock bottom. Don't get upset about it. In 2009, a man named Glenn Sanford was at rock bottom. And he said, man, how in the world am I going to build a real estate company when I don't have any money? And that's the big thing I hear a lot of my students ask me. Knolly, I don't have the money to do this. But guess what? Do you have a mind? Do you have an imagination? Because as far as I know, that's all it takes. And a little bit of hard work. Okay? So you've got to change the way you think. That's number one. Number one, action. Shift your mindset. Now, number two, and I'm just going to say it. You know, it's not going to be popular with everybody, but you got to focus on listings. Did I drop the mic? No, I didn't. But let me say it again. You've got to focus on listings. Guys, listings is king of the game. It's king of the jungle. Why are you still trying to be a baboon, right, when you can be a lion? Listings, baby. Well, Knolly, somebody's got to work these buyers. I get it. Somebody's got to do it. Now, listen, did you hear in the session earlier, did you hear Jay Kinder? And I'm super excited to be part of Jay Kinder's Rev Share group here at EXP. Super wonderful guy, all giving people here at this company. Jay Kinder said that 95% of all real estate, according to the statistics, 95% of all real estate is sold by 5% of the agents. 5%, okay? Now, think about this. You may love working buyers, and I get that. Okay, when I look at my personality profile, whenever I'm disc profiled, I get it. You know, I'm supposed to be a buyer specialist. That's what my profile is. But when you look at the game, listings, baby, that's where it's at. Okay, most of you are not switching into listings just because you're scared. You can give every kind of excuse. You know, save that to somebody that will listen to that, right? Because even your own mind doesn't believe you. Let me say it again. Even your own subconscious mind has stopped believing the things that you say. Okay? That's the reason why number one is so important. You got to change your mindset. Number two, you've got to shift to listings. Okay? And when you're talking about listings, there's 3 lead buckets where all the listing leads. I took over 1,000 listings during my first 10 years in real estate. Okay? When I got in the real estate game, during my first 74 days in the business, I took 21 listings in my first 74 days, okay? Now, I did that. I read a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. Most of us have read it. A lot of us have. And I just did what it said. You heard Ricky Carruth earlier. He said, man, just do what we say. That's all you got to do. And what I learned in taking over 1,000 listings is that there are only 3 buckets where all the listing leads that you want are going to come from. Okay? Somebody's asking about the book. It's called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Okay, it's kind of a blueprint. It's old school, but it's one that many of us some of these OGs in the room. One of the books that many of us have read to kind of catapult our career. Well, I know I took 21 listings during my first 74 days in real estate because I was with a tiny company back then called Prudential. Okay, and I had I'd taken my 21 listings, and I said, you know what, I could make a lot more money if I'm over here at RE/MAX. So I did that. I did RE/MAX for 5 years, became one of the top 10 RE/MAX agents in the state of Texas, and then Keller Williams came calling, and I was recruited to Keller Williams by Gary Keller. Okay, I spent 2.5 hours one-on-one with Gary Keller, me and him talking to me about the whole concept of Keller Williams and the difference between me starting my own brokerage, which was my next step. And I said, you know what, Gary, I'm going to join you for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. I ended up staying for 10 years until my boys called me and let me know about the best game in the world, EXP. That's where I'm at now. But all that to say that over 1,000 listings, I've learned that there are only 3 lead buckets. 3 lead buckets where all the listings that you ever want are going to come from. Only 3. Let me tell you about them. Number 1, your sphere of influence. Okay. Number 2, your farm. And number 3, your niche. Okay. Your sphere of influence, your farm, and your niche. All the listing leads that you ever want are going to come from those 3 buckets. Okay. People talk to me all the time about buying leads, paying for that. I've never paid for leads. I have never purchased a buyer lead in my life, and I've closed over, at this point, 1,200 deals. Okay. I just don't do it. I don't play those games. Now, there's nothing wrong with you playing that game, but just realize it's a game that you don't have to play. Okay? Now, let's go to number 3. I know I'm rolling, guys, but we got some stuff, we got some things to do over the next 18 months. Number 3, pick and master a niche. Let me say it again. Pick and master a niche. All right? I'm going to repeat these top 5 at the end, but you've got to pick and master a niche. And let me give you my top 7 predictions for the hottest niches going forward, okay, in the next 18 months. If you want to control the game, when short sales came out, I saw thousands of real estate agents exit the business. Thousands and thousands of real estate agents. Man, they left the building. But when short sales came out, I had more business than I've ever had in my life during the short sale era. I said, bring it on, baby. Look, I had 121 listings or 123 listings at one time on the books. 123 deals on the books. I have not had that kind of production since short sales left. There was 1 week where I took 21 listings in 7 days. 21 listings, okay? We're not talking about REO foreclosures. I'm talking about short sales. Okay. So now short sales, are they coming back? I don't think they're coming back big. So that's not one of my top 7 predictions. So if you wrote that down, just erase it right now. Let me tell you my top 7. Number 1, pre-NODs. Pre-NOD. I know I'm talking fast, but that's why we record these. See, when I bring the game, I try to make a topic that you guys are going to want to go and listen to 3 or 4 times, okay? Because it packs a whole lot of information. So number 1, pre-NODs, pre-notice of defaults. That's going to be one of the hottest. And I had a guy, boy, I got to tell you, I recorded a video with me and my boy Aaron Jackson, and he was debating with me, not really debating, but he was kind of giving his spin on it about NODs. And I said, man, this is not NODs. I'm not talking about NODs. NODs is notice of defaults. I'm talking about pre-NODs. How would you like to know about a person that missed a mortgage payment like a month after they miss it? Not when they hit the foreclosure list, coming up on auction. No. So that's pre-NODs. Okay. Number 2, old expireds. Now I know that a lot of you guys are like, well, how do I do all this? Look, I'm going to share with you at the end of this. I have a whole free stuff. We all, at EXP, we all do stuff for free. So I got a whole bunch of free stuff that will help you. In fact, I did a YouTube series, a 7-part series on YouTube about the top 5 niches, and there really are 7, but the top 5 niches. So I can't really go into depth with them here due to our time constraints, but I'm just going to rattle them off to you. Old expireds, not expireds, not expired. Oh, Knolly, I tried expired. No, old expireds. People that expired in 2016, 2017, 2018. Okay, people that expired in the past, old expireds. Number 3, your sphere of influence. Okay, that typically is your biggest bucket anyway, your SOI. Number 4, probate. Probate's going to get real big, guys. Probate. There's going to be a lot of people that choose to leave this planet for various reasons, and they're going to have to, their assets are going to have to be liquidated. So you might be the agent that specializes in probate. Number 5, divorce. Divorce, becoming a divorce specialist. That's going to be one of the top niches coming up for the next 18, even to 24 months. Okay. Then I'm going to give you 2 that are buyer related. So those first 5 are all seller related. I'm going to give you 2 that are buyer related because I know we still got to do some buyer game. I get that. So new home construction is going to be really, really big. New home construction. There's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of what we call affordable housing being built, and that is you're going to see musical chairs. In other words, people that have the $800,000 house right now are going to be quote unquote downsizing to the $500,000 house. And the people that have the $500,000 house are going to be going into the $300,000. So you're going to see a lot of musical chairs happening in the real estate game over the next 18 months. A lot of listing opportunities, guys, a lot of them. And new home construction is right now inventory is historically down, and the new home construction is going to beef that up. Then you're going to have renters wanting to go into home ownership. That's the 7th one. Renters wanting to go into home ownership. Okay, so there are seven very interesting niches. And by the way, if you focus on one of those, just one or maybe 2, okay, there is no way you can't have a $500,000 business in GCI, 500,000. By my 2nd year in real estate, I never had a year where I earned less than 450,000 in GCI. Okay, now a lot of people tell me, "Oh, Knolly, I want to do 6 figures." I'm giving you the roadmap to do it, and it's not hard. It's easy. It's the easy button. Okay. So number 3, you've got to pick and master a listing niche. Number 4. Okay. You've got to do the 2. You've got to do the 2 daily. Let me say it again. Most of y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but Uncle Knolly is very kind. I'm going to repeat myself. You've got to do the 2. DOTHE and the number 2. Do the 2. Okay? Don't get it twisted now. We're talking about something completely different. Do the 2. What does that mean? That means you've got to do 2 hours of lead generation every single day. Woo! 2 hours of lead generation every single day from 9 to 11. From 9 to 11, you're in your lead generation bunker and you're generating business. From 9 to 11 every single day. I was talking to my mom just a couple days ago, and obviously coming off Mother's Day and all, and she was talking about this. She had a big surgery, and so her knees and all this other stuff are really in bad condition. And so I asked her, I said, "Mom, are you keeping up with the PT? Y'all know what I'm talking about, physical therapy." She said, "Well," now whenever I hear somebody start talking like that, I know you're not doing it. Okay. I said, "Are you keeping up with your physical therapy?" "Well," and here's the thing that we know, that we absolutely know. If a person gets injured and they do not do their physical therapy, they will not completely heal. You got to do the work. And it's time on the task over time. That's what wins every time. Time on the task over time wins every time. Every single time. And that's what we call, write this down now, this is very important. I call it the golden key to your success. Now, it's not the most important key, because those of y'all that have followed me for a while know that's a whole different thing. But the golden key to your success, I just dropped a YouTube video on it, okay, is consistency. Consistency. Why did the tortoise beat the hare? Because he kept on going. He kept on plugging along. He kept on moving. He kept on grooving. He kept on shaking. He kept one foot in front of the other until he reached the finish line. And that's what I'm talking about. You've got to do the two. Now, what I prescribe is that you do the two Monday through Thursday. Okay? Uncle Knolly will give you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, except, okay, that big brother Brent, he's taught us that on Fridays, we're attracting. We're attracting. Well, I don't want to talk to... What do you mean you don't want to talk to anybody about EXP? You better start talking to people about this company. This is the most important and most... Look in this time period we're going through right now, okay, I have not missed a beat. Don't you know I'm happy? Don't you know that I'm happy that Fred Weaver and Kevin Kaufman bothered me enough to let me know about EXP? That they went out of their way to just really bother. Oh, I don't want to bother anybody. Look, I'm glad I was bothered. I'm glad somebody bothered me about EXP, because if they hadn't bothered me, guess what? I wouldn't be on the trajectory rolling with the #1 real estate company in the world on our way to our first million agents. You better start bothering people. And guess what? Don't bother them. You know what Uncle Knolly means. You need to start presenting the opportunity to people. Okay? They want to hear about it. Okay? And if they're not interested, move on. Okay? Move on. I have personally enrolled, since I joined EXP, I've personally enrolled 67 people. Okay, they're not my FLQAs, but my FLAs is at 67. Okay, now I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying, well, that's because you're Knolly Williams. Look here now. 3 years ago, people said, man, you're all over YouTube. 3 years ago, I didn't even have a single video on YouTube. Let me say it again. 3 years ago, Uncle Knolly did not have a single video on YouTube. Not one. And it's never too late for you to begin doing what you know you're supposed to be doing. How about today? Why not? Okay. So do the two every single day, Monday through Thursday. You're doing 2 hours of lead generation, and then on Friday, okay, you're doing agent attraction. You do the two Monday through Friday. I got to tell you, if you do that one thing, it will lead to success. People ask me all the time, well, Knolly, what do I do when I get in my lead generation bunker? Like, what do I do? Who do I call? What do I say? That's the reason why I wrote the book, Triple My Listings. Okay, it's absolutely free. We ship it to you for free. You pay the shipping. We've already printed a bunch of books. You pay the shipping. We send it to you. You go to knolly.com and you get Triple My Listings. You just get the book. Okay, and then that way, when you sit in your lead generation bunker, okay, you'll know exactly what you need. And the reason I wrote it is because my own group here at EXP would always be asking me. We meet every single week and I coach them, just like I'm doing right now with you guys. I bring this kind of heat to them every single week, okay, to keep them on track. And they kept asking me, well, what do I do when I'm in my lead generation bunker? And I'm like, crap. Got to write another book. So I wrote that book, and now we make it available to anyone and everybody for free, especially those of you within the sound of my voice in the family. So that's number 4. And then number 5, okay, write this down. You've got to upgrade your teachability index. Let me say it again. You've got to upgrade your teachability index. Okay, and here's what your teachability index is. I'm going to say this briefly. A lot of this stuff goes into a lot of the things that I teach. And I drop a video on YouTube now every single day. So I'm always teaching something. 98% of everything that I offer to the world, to the universe, to God's children is absolutely free. I charge nothing for it. I am super excited about EXP because EXP has given me the opportunity to just drop the price of everything I have just about to free. I don't have to charge for anything because I've got a rockin' revenue share group that basically sponsors everything that I do so that you guys get everything for free. Now listen to this. You've got to upgrade your teachability index. What does that mean? Number 1, there's two parts of a teachability index. Let me see if I can teach this to you real quick. And I learned this from Kevin Trudeau. Everything that I've learned from somebody. I didn't come into this world with any knowledge. Okay, you heard Jay Kinder talking earlier about one of the most important skills that we can have in this game is marketing, learning how to become great marketers, okay? And we learned even that from other people, right? So how do you upgrade your teachability index? Number one, you have to have a high willingness to learn, and number two, you have to have a willingness to accept change. A willingness to accept change. Let me say it again. Number one, you have to have a willingness to learn, and then you have to have a willingness to accept change. Now, if you can write that down, write it down. Very important. So what we, on the teachability index, so whenever someone comes to me and I want to determine how teachable that person is, we do a little exercise. So the first thing we do is we say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, and I want you to do this exercise with me. Those of you within the sound of my voice right now, do this exercise. Very important. You came here to succeed. Let's get your game on. Okay. So your willingness to learn. Let's talk about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, man, I'm not gonna do nothing you say. I'm just not gonna do it. That's 1. I'm not gonna do anything. Okay. And 10 is I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. What does that mean? That means I say, hey, you want to succeed, don't you? Yeah, I want to succeed. Well, I need you to move to Seattle, Washington. Well, I'm not willing to move to Seattle. Okay, so you're not willing to do whatever it takes. It's okay. So just anywhere within there, where would you say your score is? From a scale of 1 to 10. Are you a 1 or are you a 10? Or are you somewhere in between? What's your score? So write that down. Some people are saying, you guys are saying, somebody says they're a 9, a 10, and somebody says I'm an 8, a 10, an 8. I see some good stuff in here, okay? I see a 25 up in here, boy. 6, 7, okay. I like it. Okay, good, okay. All right, so the next exercise, okay? So just write that down for yourself. That's good. Uncle Knolly likes to see all those comments. Appreciate you guys. That's lots of love, you guys. Appreciate it. So number 2, what's your willingness to accept change? Ooh, Knolly, don't go there. Let me say it again. What's your willingness to accept change? Y'all know what change is? Change, okay? So from a scale of 1 means I'm never going to change. There was a gal that I talked to. She's a good friend of ours, actually a friend of ours' mom. She says, and we were talking about dancing. Do you like to dance? She says, I have never danced in my life, and I will never, ever, ever dance ever in my life. So that would be on a scale of 1 to 10. That's a 1. She has a 1, a willingness to accept change. Now let's talk about 10. Knolly, I will change immediately. Listen, I tell people all the time. I said, what's your willingness to accept change? They said, man, I'm a 10. I said, okay, join EXP. Well, wait a minute. I really like my broker. Okay. Well, so just back it up a little bit. Maybe it's a 6 or 7. Sometimes I would never tell somebody to just flat out join EXP, because EXP is not for everybody. Let's just put that out there. It's for 90% of the agents I've talked to, but it's not for everybody. Okay. There's some people we just don't even want here, right? We got to put that out there. But here's the thing. If they say, hey, I have a high willingness to accept change, I say, well, watch this video about EXP. Well, I really don't want to watch it. Okay, so that means you don't even want to know what you're turning down. You don't even want to know the opportunity. Okay, and I tell any real estate agent anywhere that you need to study up and learn about EXP, because any company that's grown to over 1 million agents needs to be known about. I don't care if you never joined EXP in your life. You need to know about this company, and you need to study up on this company, because you need to know not only one thing, what you're missing, okay, or what you're saying no to. You got to know what you're saying no to. Just don't say no. Just know what you're saying no to, and then you can give it a real good no. Like, nah, I already looked at it and I don't like it. And then number 2, you're going to have to know, or you're going to want to know what everybody's talking about. So just do yourself a favor and look into it, okay? So now here's how you know what your teachability index is. Times your willingness to learn by your willingness to accept change. So if you have a 7, a willingness to learn, and a 7, willingness to accept change, you're at a 49 out of 100. You're at a 50% teachability index. You're 50% teachable. Okay. If you have a 9 by 9, you're 80. What is that? What is that? 81? No, 9 times 9 is yeah. It's well, 9. What's 9? What's 9 times 9? I know not. No. I'm tripping. 9 times 9 is 81. Okay. So if you have a 9 and a 9, that's 81% teachability index, right? 81%. So you still can be 20% teachable. So here's what I want you guys to understand. You want to get to the point where you're a 10 and a 10. And a lot of that goes back to what we said from the beginning, and I'm going to teach you. Yes, somebody said 9 times 9 is 81, Knolly. Hey, you guys know, Uncle Knolly did not, I dropped out of college, but before I did that, I dropped out of high school. Okay, got my GED. Then I said, I'm going to go see what these cats know in college. I'm going to learn some stuff over there. And I just didn't like it. I'm an entrepreneur. I went straight into running my own business at age 23, made my first $1 million when I was 29 years old, made $2 million that year. And I just never stopped, okay, from there of succeeding. But here's what I did stop to do was to turn around and pay it forward. Okay, we've got to give back. Anytime that you've achieved any level of success, help others to do the same. But now I've only sold 2 homes. Well, talk to somebody that's never sold a house and help them. All right, so let's go over these 5. I want to go over these real quick, and then I think that's it. I think we're out, guys. The 5 actions. I'm going to give you some next steps where you can get a whole ton of more of this stuff. Number 1, you've got to shift your mindset. Number 1, shift your mindset. Number 2, you've got to start focusing on listings. And by the way, you don't have to do any of the stuff I teach. I'm just going to share with you, if you could pick my brain, this is what I'm going to share with you on how to succeed the next 18 months. Number 3, pick and master a niche. And better yet, pick and master a listing niche. Number 4, do the 2. Okay? Do the 2. That requires consistency and dedication, okay? And you got, it's time on the task over time. And number 5, you upgrade your teachability index. Be honest with yourself. If you're a 6 and a 6, that's 36% teachable, okay? Bring up your teachability index, okay? And with that, I want to share with you guys that if you like my style, not everybody likes my style of training. Sometimes when I'm teaching, I get a little bit hood because that's just, that just comes out. That's where I came from. I moved to South Central LA when I was 10 years old and grew up in Los Angeles. And so sometimes the street comes back out. Not everybody likes, I talk about Jesus, all this kind of stuff. Not everybody likes my teaching style. But if you like my teaching style, guess what I do? Every single week, and I mainly did these for my peeps at EXP, but we open it up to everybody. Every single week, Uncle Knolly gets on the microphone, just like I'm doing right now, and I have a Zoom call, okay? It's open to anybody and everybody at any franchise, doesn't matter where you are, okay? And I chop it up and we talk about things that are going to help you succeed. If you want to join, it's Knolly Success Coaching. It's at knolly.com, KNOLLY.com. You sign up for Knolly Coaching. We've got a private Facebook group. We've got a weekly call just like this. Except I actually have to get dressed for it. and we have a whole lot of other stuff. So join me there. That's where I can help answer questions and stuff in the Facebook group. But hey, I love you guys. I love this company. I love everything about it. I love Candace. I love what you're doing. And I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to share what I know, what I've learned, and pay it forward. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon.